The Ghost feels like it could cost at least $20 more than its sticker price. And even though it isn't the most expensive Brooks neutral trainer, it far outclasses all the other daily trainers in terms of luxury. So how does the Ghost 13 stack up against the other giants of the daily training category? And is this a shoe that I would use in my rotation? When picking up the Ghost 13 for the first time, I immediately noticed the dimpled DNA loft foam all along the lateral side of the midsole, and I thought to myself that the Ghost now looks more like the top of the range glycerin than ever before. I liked the 80s style graphic overlays on the heel and the midfoot more than the all business like upper of the Ghost 12. The mesh upper felt more breathable and more stretchy, while the heel counter felt less padded than the Ghost 12. When putting the shoe on for the first time, I could feel my feet sink down into the plush Biomogo sock liner. Sink in comfort has always been a trademark of the Ghost series. I'm usually in between sizes, so with the Ghost 13 I decided to go with the bigger size. However, this was the wrong decision and I could feel my feet swimming inside the upper. It felt like I was wearing clown shoes, so I had to change them for a half size smaller. Overall, the fit of the Ghost 13 is much more roomy than previous versions of the Ghost. My first run in the Ghost 13 was one of familiarity. The Ghost personality came through strongly, even in the first couple of meters. The upper of the Ghost 13 is where Brooks has every other brand beaten. They're using a new engineered mesh called Air Mesh, which is supposed to be lighter and more breathable. My first run was on a cold winter morning, and I could feel the cold wind on my toes. The rest of the upper is what you'd come to expect from Brooks. It has generous amounts of foam in the tongue, collar and heel, and the tongue, while not gusseted, doesn't slide around because its wide wings hold it in place. The stiff internal heel counter does a good job in locking in the heel with no heel slippage, and there are also last row double eyelets for heel lock lacing. The toe box is wide and spacious with plenty of room for your toes to splay, and there's an internal toe stiffener for extra structure and support in the toe area. The heel counter of the Ghost 13 feels more streamlined and less padded than the Ghost 12. The result of the less padded heel counter is that the foot sits further back in the shoe, freeing up space in the forefoot, and this is the reason that the Ghost 13's forefoot feels much roomier than the Ghost 12's. The high volume forefoot means that the standard width Ghost 13 is more suited to wide-footed runners who need the extra room. If you have a narrow foot, you might need to purchase the narrow version. The Ghost 13 is also available in wide and extra wide versions, in addition to the narrow and standard widths. I can't really mark the upper of the Ghost 13 down for anything except the fact that it doesn't have a gusseted tongue. It's strange that Brooks decided to not give it a gusseted tongue when they've clearly not cut costs anywhere else on the premium upper. The midsole of the Ghost 13 is a dual foam setup of DNA Loft and Biomogo. The two foams are very similar in density, so you get a smooth and consistent ride. The two foams have also been co-molded, so there are no gaps or seams where the two foams meet. The ride of the Ghost 13 is medium soft, just like the Ghost 12 and the Ghost 11 and most of the other previous Ghost versions. This medium soft ride results in an incredibly versatile shoe, which all daily trainers strive to achieve. I like the Ghost 13 most for easy paced runs between 10 and 25 kilometers. But its midsole is not overly soft, so you can take it on the occasional tempo outing, although its substantial weight might be a problem. Brooks's Ghost 13 marketing pitch is that it's the perfect blend of softness and responsiveness. Now, I agree with the softness part, but not with the responsiveness. I still think that the midsole foams Brooks uses lags behind in responsiveness compared to, say, the explosive forefoot of the Pegasus 37 with its Zoom Air units, and the Ride 13 with its TPU EVA blend Power Run midsole. The 12mm heel-to-toe offset of the Ghost 13 is more than the other daily trainers, and it makes it the perfect shoe for beginner runners who tend to strike on their rear foot. The extra cushioning in the heel means more shock absorption to cushion heel strikes. I also felt like the 12mm dropped helped roll me through my stride and made transitions feel more effortless. Stability is great in the Ghost 13, and it remains one of the most stable neutral trainers that money can buy. There's no lean bias, as the midsole is not overly soft, and this black part that wraps around the midsole acts as a guidance rail to keep your foot centered through transitions. There are two different rubbers used on the outsole of the Ghost 13. Harder wearing rubber on the heel and softer blown rubber on the forefoot. The rubber that Brooks uses is soft and spongy in density, and the rubber lugs are twice as thick as on other running shoes. Under the forefoot, there are 3 wide flex grooves which span the entire width of the forefoot, and this makes the Ghost 13 very flexible. Durability is the one weakness of the Ghost 13. Its EVA midsole will eventually lose cushioning over time, while its outsole rubber wears down much faster than other super durable rubbers like BRS 1000 found on the Pegasus and AHAR Plus found on the Cumulus. If you want a super exciting, fun ride, don't get the Ghost 13. But if you want a consistent, stable ride, you should definitely consider getting the Ghost 13. The Ghost 13 isn't the softest or the most engaging ride, and it doesn't do one thing particularly well. But it stands out because it has no major flaws and it's such a well-rounded shoe. From the beginner runner to the seasoned marathoner, the Brooks Ghost 13 has something for everyone. It can handle easy-paced runs, recovery runs, and even tempo runs if you don't mind its hefty weight. So how does the Ghost 13 stack up to the other highly rated daily trainers? I wouldn't say that it's my favorite, but it has the most balanced ride and it has the best upper. It's also the most stable of the bunch, but it falls behind in midsole and outsole durability. For me, I prefer a daily trainer with higher levels of responsiveness and durability. Thanks for watching our review. If you enjoyed it, please like, favorite, and subscribe to the channel. You can also read our full written review on runningshoesguru.com.